welcome to Faking It. As always, we are your hosts,
Ariel
and Morgan.
Jazz hands. We're two intimacy coordinators here to talk about the spicy scenes you see in film and TV.
And welcome to our very first bonus episode. This is where we pick a movie or TV show we've been dying to squeeze into the lineup and dive straight into the heart of the intimacy.
It's the concentrated version of our usual episodes. All the spice, none of the, quote, filler. We'll react to a scene live, run it through our spice scale, and let the conversation flow. So let's get into it.
Today, we are talking about Sinners.
Sinners! Yeah! I'm so excited.
Yeah. In case you are not familiar, Sinners is the 2025 horror movie written and directed by Ryan Coogler. It was one of the highest grossing original films of the 2020s. In the scene we're going to watch, we are going to see Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Haley Steinfeld as Mary. Because the intimate scene is part of a montage, we're also going to be cutting to some other scenes where we will see Jamie Lawson singing as Pearline, Miles Caton as Sammy Moore, Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim, and Michael B. Jordan again as Stack.
I like that you started it and ended it with Michael B. Jordan.
Do you see how I bookended it?
I saw what you did there, yeah.
Yeah. It's 1932. Twin brothers Smoke and Stack have left their troubled lives working for the Chicago Mafia to start over in their hometown in the Mississippi Delta by starting a juke joint. On their opening night, Sammy and Pearline's music is so transcendent, it summons spirits from the past and future. At one point, a suspicious trio of white musicians try and fail to get in. Stack's white-passing ex-girlfriend, Mary, goes out to investigate. She discovers the white people are vampires, but too late. They turn her. Later, she's let back in and seeks out Stack.
It's very spooky for spooky season. I also want to mention for our visual fakers out there, we are wearing Sunnydale shirts in honor of vampires. So I hope y'all appreciate that we both had these independently of one another.
Yeah, and they're in the same colors, too.
They are. They're in the Sunnydale maroon and gold, which is so beautiful. One day we'll have to do Buffy, and that will be an amazing, amazing day. Lots of plans for that day.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm very excited for Sinners. Anyone who's known me since I was very young knows that vampires are kind of my thing. Like, I'm a little bit obsessed with vampires and vampiric lore, so I'm very excited to get into it.
For spooky season, for a podcast that focuses on spicy scenes, it had to be vampires. They, I feel like, are the most sexual of all of the spooky characters. This is one of the best examples of them.
I also briefly want to talk about something that's most definitely going to be in the bonus content of this bonus episode. I read this book once about vampire lore in film specifically and television. And it talked about the intimacy between human being and vampire versus human being and werewolf, and why that sort of Twilight-like dichotomy exists and what is attractive. The attraction to vampires is someone who essentially wants to eat you. It's a more intelligence-based, emotional-based response system where it's someone who lures you in with their beauty, with their talent, their intellect, their words, and then actively creating a sexual response from the connection between the predator and prey. The connection between human and werewolf is more of a physical-based lust system where it's like, I want to be inside of you and mate with you and connect like on a physical plane, whereas vampires, it's more of a spiritual, mental plane. So it depends on what you find sexy based on whether you choose Edward or Jacob or what have you. But it's not the point about Sinners. It's all vampires and they're not really there for sexual potency, but I just wanted to bring it up because interesting.
Yeah. I mean, this is a sexually potent scene, so
Yeah, it is.
it works.
So based on this context, do you find yourself more attracted to vampires on TV or more attracted to like werewolves? Or both or neither?
It's funny because I don't have as many references for werewolves on TV. The only ones I can think of outside of like Oz on Buffy and outside of Twilight is like, what was that 1980s like Michael J. Fox? He's a werewolf and he plays
Oh my
basketball. Like it's all
God,
goofy.
Teen Wolf?
Yeah.
What about all the verticals, man? What about the verticals and the Omega verse of it all?
Okay. Well, with the verticals, they mix lore like crazy. They have alpha werewolves that bite people's necks, and that's like a significant part of their relationship. So they're kind of mixing the two together. I honestly can see the attraction to both. I just have a lot more examples of vampires that like we're meant to see as sexy.
I get that. I see that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah.
Like even Oz on Vampy the on
Vampy the Small Layer
vampire on Vampy the Bumpire Slayer,
the Campfire Layer.
Yes. Even Oz on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when he's in werewolf form, is not sexual.
Well, there is that one this is going to become a Buffy episode, but
yeah,
there is an episode in Buffy where Daniel Osborne, he becomes sexually attracted to another werewolf person when they're in college, and then it becomes sexual, but it is definitely not sexualized before that point. He is just like a monster that they're trying not to kill if they don't have to.
Yeah, but even like their version of a werewolf is not a sexy version. Like when Oz as a werewolf has sex with another werewolf, it's sort of like the same level of sexuality as like watching two animals have sex as opposed to watching humans or part humans have sex.
Yeah. True Blood is a better example of sexy werewolves. Or, I mean, if you're going to go Twilight, but you don't really see the definitive sexual prowess of, let's say, a Jacob character, more so than, I can't recall the name of the werewolf character, one of the many in True Blood later seasons. If anyone reads Omegaverse, and I'm not saying that I do at length, but you can see a lot of that sexual prowess in those. That's neither here nor there. We're talking about sinners today, and there are no werewolves in this iteration, although now they have access to the entirety of the Sinners universe, and I'm curious to see if they bring them in.
Yes.
The scene is so good.
It's so good.
So she's a vampire at this point, right? Yeah, you said that.
She is turned. They're now in a room, the two of them. She pulls him in for a kiss.
Fighting, stunts.
A fight is happening outside the room with his twin brother and Sammy. We're back to them and they are kissing in profile. It's beautiful. Crowd is dancing outside.
It's so hard to comment when it's so good to watch.
I know. It's so hard. Turns out someone was cheating in poker. Someone's getting kicked at the same beat as the music. That's nice. Nice touch.
I just want to talk about the S curves that she's making with her body while she sings and as she crawls. Beautiful S curves. Oh yeah, the vampire is a drool.
Yes. And then she asks him if he wants some. He nods his head yes. So she spits into his mouth. And then they kiss. She's straddling him. He pulls back her dress. We see the bite mark. So now we know she's a vampire. Sammy is looking for him. Making his way through the crowd, searching. Sammy discovers them with her on top, thrusting. Smoke is going to go get his brother. He doesn't care what he's doing in that room, which is a very specific relationship.
Absolutely.
Could not pay me to walk into a room where I knew one of my siblings was hooking up. She is on top. They're making vicious sounds. She has blood all over her. Smoke shoots her. She falls down next to his tweaking twin. And then she gets back up.
She rises from the dead.
Her eyes are different.
It's so good. This is a perfect example of a film that knows it doesn't need to showcase nudity to tell an effective story. In this scene, seeing more skin and more body parts may have taken away from the story because the point is that
Mhm.
she's a vampire, it's Chekhov's gun. When is she going to bite him, basically, more so than look at how hot and steamy sexual scene is.
Totally. By keeping them closed, Ryan Coogler is forcing us to focus on the parts of the body that matter. The back of her shoulder when her dress is moved and it's finally revealing the bite to confirm that she is, in fact, a vampire. And I think by doing that, he's training us to look for very specific things. If they were really quick to take off all their clothes, we'd be, seeing bodies and being like, oh, these are hot people, when really it's like, no, she's going to kill him.
Yes. Whether
Yeah.
or not you're attracted to the female form, if they were to show back nudity or even full back nudity, that vampire bite on her shoulder would be a blip. Like you would not notice it, would not be as present. It wouldn't create forward momentum for the story in the same effective way. Oh, now we know this is some cinematography greatness right here.
Yes.
I mean, granted, if you have a great cinematographer, which they do, it could have worked. The cinematographer focuses the eye of the audience to where it wants you to look, and it could have been done effectively, but I would argue that it would have been more painstaking of a process.
Her threat is not her sexuality. Her threat really is that she's white passing. And so she was the one that was going to go out and talk to the white people and figure out what their deal was. Turns out they were vampires. And because she was in with the Black community, because of her mixed race status, she was able to be welcomed back in, whereas the other white musicians weren't. And so that sort of crossover is the actual threat, not her being attractive.
Yeah. And that's why when you see Smoke's simulated sex scene earlier in the film,
Yeah.
it's very sensual and
Hmm.
beautiful and sexualized. And we, the audience, feel steam coming from that moment. I don't like that phrasing, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
in this, it's more like perfunctory sex to get to the point of the threat. If they were to sexualize it, then it would change the context and change the themes they're trying to come across.
I really appreciated how intentional Ryan was with the casting of the two female love interests. Smoke is the twin who doesn't get bit, right? His love interest is this woman who not only is not white passing, Black, she's very melanated, she's very curvy, she's not the body type that we usually see as the main love interest for a character played by someone like Michael B. Jordan, who's like this big leading man action star. But they have a gorgeous scene and beautiful chemistry, and they showcase how beautiful she is and the relationship and love that they have. And then you cast that against Haley Stanfield, who obviously is more slender. She is more white passing. And the connection that the two of them have, you could argue is like not as deep as the other two.
She is the more classic Hollywood style ingenue that one would
Hmm.
expect. So for her to be the predator
Yeah.
is just so smart. Story has been told effectively,
Hmm.
both thematically and physiologically. I understand where bodies are meeting in space, even though we're pretty far back with
Hmm.
camera. It looks very realistic. Do you want to check out the other scene and contrast it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
This is a bonus episode. We can do whatever we
Ah! Bonus
want.
on bonus on bonus. So we have Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Wenmi Mosaku as Annie. In this scene, this is the first time Smoke has come back after being away for a very long time. We see them in her shop, all her tinctures around her. They hug each other. She grabs at his groin. goes up to his neck and holds it.
It's very slow. It's very sensual. She
Mm-hmm.
has her hand around his neck, but it's not like a squeeze. There's not a lot of pressure to it. It's just in the sort of possessive
Mm-hmm.
motion.
He takes his jacket off. He's kissing her neck.
Also, notice how there's so much kissing and touching of the neck on a vampire
Yes.
film. I find that really intriguing.
Mm-hmm. And he goes behind her, lifts up her dress, and is penetrating from behind.
Their movements are pretty good.
Compared to the other scene, we're getting more mid shots. The other one was like a lot of wides. We weren't as connected. Here, the focus was really on these two people and the connection they have. It also wasn't being cut between other things. We were with them the whole time. Whereas the other one, we have the tension of like, oh my God, she's going to kill him. Even though this one, she's grabbing his neck and we're not worried.
Yeah, and the music is sort of sweeping us in. The movement was very fluid. Even when he's penetrating her from behind, it's sort of this momentum moving them in a gradual pace that presents more familiarity between the characters, I think. Stack and the vampire, it's very like perfunctory. It's like up and down and up and down and up and
Yes.
down, you know? The
Yeah.
pacing. Yeah. It presents danger.
I loved the play on the power dynamics between the two of them, with her being the one initiating. She's grabbing his groin. She's the one that puts her hand on his neck. I thought that was such a beautiful portrayal of the power dynamics in the relationship and how equal they are in that relationship.
I've worked on a lot of scenes where a male is penetrating from behind, maybe over a desk or over a chair. And I find that a lot of the time folks assume that that position naturally informs the audience that the male is in the power position.
Hmm.
But I think that this scene proves that that's not necessarily the case. You can be in the power position no matter where you're stationed.
I thought the choice to have him behind her was another way of celebrating her beauty, because we got to see her body on full display. Even though she's fully clothed, we got to see more of her, whereas if she was facing him or they moved in a position where he was on top of her, then we wouldn't see as much of her.
Once again, no nudity required to showcase these very different intimacy scenes.
Mm-hmm. And it's not that having nudity is inherently bad. It's
No.
just thinking about, like with anything in film, the idea is we have this scene because we have to have it in for the story. You just have to think about, what is the purpose of it? What is it doing for the story? Or do I just want people to be naked?
Yeah, I think if in this scene there was nudity, the star power of Michael B. Jordan in either role would change the story, just because we as the audience are aware of who he is, and that folks might be actively intrigued by just the fact of the actor being nude more so than what the story would be telling in that nudity.
When he's shirtless in Black Panther and we're really focusing on his body, part of it is focusing on the star power of Michael B. Jordan.
I think if he were nude in these scenes, long story short, I would be looking at Michael B. Jordan. I would not be looking at Smoke or Stack. I would say, oh my God, that's Michael G. Borden.
Yeah.
Michael G. Borden.
Michael
That's
G. Borden.
Michael G. Borden and Michael B. Jordan. That's Smoke and Stack. Different actors, of course, obviously. I would be looking at the actor's body more so than the character's body. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
If the women in these scenes had been nude, how would that have changed the scenes for you?
I don't think I know that actress enough to have seen it be more actress than body parts. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
I saw Equus many, many years ago on Broadway with Daniel Radcliffe in it. And I remember seeing the play. I had read the play already. I knew the context, I knew the plot line, and when I saw it, I said, "Oh my god, that's it's Daniel Day Radcliffe." It's oh my god, what is me and names today? Names
I
are
mean,
tough for me today.
us and
Ugh,
names, because
what is
I did
happening?
Duffy the Vampire Slayer, so.
So much is happening right now. But Daniel D. Uh, when I saw Equus, I remember Daniel Radcliffe's penis. I don't remember the character's name. That's what I would take away from it. I wouldn't remember the sensual emotions coming out of the scene. I would just remember, oh my God, remember when we saw his body parts.
Keeping the focus on the story, especially when you think of the scene between Smoke and Annie, we really want it to be about their relationship. And them reuniting sexually obviously has an element of lust to it, but it's also so much more than that. It's like a reunion in a much more powerful way. I don't know how nudity would enhance that story.
I think that's what we're both saying,
Yeah.
ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a little spice scale.
All right. Well, the spice scale is our not so scientific way of rating intimacy scenes based on consent and power dynamics, technical craft, and coordination excellence, and heat factor. Each category gets a score from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, and then we add it all up to give the scene a final letter grade.
All right. So let's first do the scene with Stack and Mary.
Mm-hmm. Consensual.
Consent. Yes. Definitely consensual. The power dynamics are interesting. She clearly is the one who has the upper hand, not just because we as the audience know she's a vampire.
But also
When
she's
she
physically on top.
and she's physically on top. She's initiating. She's the one that pulls him into that room. She is leading the action of the intimacy. If you notice, she's the one like pulling him in more. She's initiating more kisses, the drool, and the
I was just
spitting.
going to say the drool. Yeah.
If that's not a power move, I don't know what is.
Nope. Part of consent is being fully informed, as defined by the parent words.
The parent plan.
The parent plan, as defined by Planned Parenthood. You have to be fully informed of what you're agreeing to, and technically speaking, he is not fully informed as to her status as vampire, so technically this isn't fully consensual.
Yeah.
However, it's consensual in the moment given the information they have.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you. I would give it maybe like an 85 or 90 on the consent factor, because, you know, I'm trying to think of it in like grounded human terms. If you were going to have sex with someone and you didn't know they were on some kind of drug, that might change the experience somehow.
But that's not considered consent then, is it? When someone is under the influence, they actively are unable to give consent to the action.
Yeah.
If you are under the influence of vampires, it's not consent, baby. It's consent if you know they're a vampire.
Right.
And that there is a threat to your life involved. Listen, I'm not gonna shame anyone's kink. I'm just saying.
Then I take it back. Then it's just not consensual if he doesn't know she's a vampire, because I'm like, that's a big piece of information that would have made it a no.
I don't know if we want to get into the whole nerds movie of it all.
Yeah.
Technically, in vampire lore, I'm just pushing my glasses up. Once you become a vampire, depending on what exactly the world build is, you are essentially a demon wearing a human's face. So it's not really her. I'm getting real abstract here. But is it then that she is not herself? She is unable to present as the person that she's pretending to be. Is it the same thing then?
I think the metaphor for this is someone else in that costume is actually really apt. It's not as clean as this, because I believe in Ryan Coogler's version of vampires, they still hold on to elements of the person. They have all of their memories. They seem to have parts of their personality. It's not like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where Angel and Angelus are wildly different.
But Spike, but Spike is really similar to his human persona with or without a soul. Like he has really similar traits. It's sort of like someone who's been hurt, who's put on a big leather jacket and says, I'm a big badass now.
There are different degrees of levels of vampire, but if we're just working off of the worlds that Ryan Coogler has in this
Yes, which is
version.
the point. I'm sorry.
It's
I feel like we
okay.
should title this episode Sinners, but also Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Twilight.
So, not consensual.
Not consensual.
But I will say it depicts that well because the audience knows going
Yes.
in. Because we know she's a vampire at this point when she tries to get back into the house. Because the last time we saw her when she was outside, she was starting to walk away from the vampires, and then one of them flew and was going towards her, and it cut away. And then she's at the door of the jukebox and is trying to get permission to come back in.
I just had an interesting thought if we want to go really abstract, but feel free to shut this down because this goes
Okay.
down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
So, the vampires in Ryan Coogler's film have sort of a mass mindset, right?
They do have that.
So, does that mean that they are, in some sense, all of the vampires are having sex with
Stack.
are thank you. Is it possible that conceptually all of the vampires who are vampires at that time as they exist in this mass mindset are having sex with Stack sort of simultaneously?
Okay, that's an interesting point. I love that thought. If I remember correctly, there's a moment where the mass mindset is like turned on when we see a whole group of them outside of the jukebox, where like all their eyes light up or something like that, something to evoke that now we're all tapping in. I think it's possible. I don't know that that's the story being told in this moment. I think she's not tuned into that channel. Yeah.
Just sort of interesting to think about. Like, there is an
Totally.
episode in Rick and Morty where Rick has sex with a full consciousness that inhabits different bodies. This is kind of the opposite of that. But I hear what you're saying, and it's not the exact story we're telling here. I'm just kind of interpreting the world.
Ryan Coogler does introduce that element later. I think because of the way they depict it, where it's not an ever present unity, then I think this is just like Vampire Mary.
Fair. All
Yeah.
right. Should we move on to technical crime?
Yeah. Amanda Peak, the intimacy coordinator, who did an incredible job,
Amazing.
which sort of preempts technical craft coordination excellence, the staging, film coverage, modesty, protection, choreography, and overall execution of the scene. We've already talked about this a bit. I feel like we're leaning towards a 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we didn't even give a score to Consent Power. I mean, I'm sure we're going to give everything a 5. I mean, like, I'm giving this one a 5. Great excellence.
Everything felt very intentional. I mean, with this film overall, that's so true. With these scenes specifically, there was nothing I would have taken out. There was nothing I was missing.
We've talked a lot about the specifics of body placement, hand placement. Anyway,
On the
let's
same
go to
page.
heat. Thank you. Yes, we're all on the same page. Next up, we have heat factor, the level of erotic charge or sexual tension in the scene. Both are very hot. Both are great. I'm on board for both.
Oh, yeah. Both are so hot. The second one is literally very hot because it's Mississippi Delta, and it feels like inside the jukebox with all the dancing, everyone is just sweating more. You can see the glistening on their bodies from the sweat. They're both very hot in different ways.
A lot of directors ask, oh, can it be more passionate? Can it be more lusty? Can it be more romantic? I think these two scenes are a perfect description of lusty, high passion versus romantic high passion.
Yes.
It's about pacing and speed. It's about the fluidity of movement. It's about the breath and where the eye line is. I think that in the Haley Steinfeld one, we see her spit going into his mouth, which is a little more sexually charged. But then in the other scene, we see her slowly grasp and slightly tease over his groin.
They both show different qualities of movement. Like you were saying earlier with Mary and Stack, it's like much more staccato movement. We're cutting in and out very quickly. We're just getting like little tastes of it. Whereas with Annie and Smoke, we're really with them the whole time. That also allows our emotional connection to what's happening build. It's not getting interrupted at all. Even the things she says, like when she grabs his crotch and she says, "You remember me." I loved that line. I was like, oh, that's so good because it speaks to the dynamics of the relationship. He's still so attracted to her. She takes such ownership of that. It's just so juicy.
Yay, 5. So
Yeah.
5, 5, 5. It's an A, you guys. Surprising no one.
It's my very first A.
Good job.
Honestly, tracks.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Claps.
Any final thoughts?
I think there's so much more to say about the world building and racism in the South. And I think that there's a lot of Black joy that's represented that I really appreciate. But I think as far as intimacy goes, I've said everything I think I need to say. What about you?
We're just focusing on one tiny part of it. The details in this film, I think even the poker game that they were playing was the game they would be playing at the time. They reached out to an expert that somehow would know this to learn how to play whatever that poker game is. And
Probably poker.
it was a specific type.
Oh, it was. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's like how in poker there's Texas Hold'em. There's a,
This just goes to show I don't know anything about poker. I'm
It's
like,
fine.
oh, it's all one game.
I had only that example.
I want to talk about S curves and the singer in the scene with Haley Steinfeld.
Yes.
For those who don't know what S curves are, it's pretty self-explanatory once you think about it. It's just how the body creates an S, whether that's the head is sort of tilted forward and the stomach is tilted backwards with the buttocks sort of out and then the legs are forward, or it's cat cow is a good example of an S curve. And people use S curves either consciously or subconsciously, usually to attract, or they use it to detract from others. Like if you are caved in on yourself, you're not creating a visual that is necessarily sexually appealing to most. That's why there's sort of a slinkiness to the singer I appreciate.
Her dancing was S curves on S curves on S curves. All of this gorgeous fluid motion, these soft shapes that we associate with sexuality, especially when it comes to women. But she also does it with such power. She's such a great example of that.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to this bonus episode of Faking It. This is a taste of the type of exclusive content you'll have access to if you subscribe to our Patreon.
As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every other Wednesday.
If this was good for you, the best way to support our show is to follow the podcast and leave a quick rating or review. It takes less than 30 seconds and it really helps us.
Tell one friend who loves spicy movie secrets about us. Find us on social media at Faking the Pod. Stay real, fakers.
And now, folks and friends, even more bonus content.
I wore my Buffy shirt.
Oh
today.
my God! You're wearing a Buffy shirt! Wait. I have a Buffy sweatshirt.
Do you have one? Okay.
I do. I have to put it on. Excuse me a second. This might actually take a second. I found it.
Yay.
Literally at the bottom of my winter stuff. Here we go.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, it's beautiful. Sunnydale High School.
Yes, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
We have to wear these again when we do Buffy because
Obviously.
I feel like that's really important.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to Sinners now that we have on our
Anyways.
Buffy outfit.
We love vampires. We love sinners.
All right. We're in. Okay, we did it. Technical difficulties. Fuck you.
Fuck you, technical difficulties.
You guys don't know what we do for you here at Faking It the Pod. You don't know the pain and pressures of technology that we're forced to endure.
Yes. Technology that we are still very much learning.
Yes. So thank you for bearing with us as we handle all the things. And we just created a lot of bonus content. So if you haven't joined our Patreon at this point, you definitely should now.
Give us money so we can hire someone to deal with the technology. So Ariel and I don't have to.
For reference, group, we started this podcast 45 minutes ago and have done like 3 options of intros, and here we are now doing it again. Mics are working, everything's working theoretically now, but I just want you to know that we love you and never doubt that.
Never doubt it. Okay.
Anyway.
Once more with feeling.
Hey.
I got that for
Hey,
you.
You did that for me. I loved
I did
it.
for you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
From the top.
Hey, oh yeah, here we go. Jazz hands.
Wait, I can do it again because you were doing the drum roll.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Do you want to do the drum roll again?
Today we are talking about sinners.
It's when we think about it too much that we can't say it at the same time.
I know. Yeah,
it's okay.
That's
Just
so true.
imagine, group. Imagine that we're saying it at the same time.
Okay.
Faking It with Ariel and Morgan is produced independently by Ariel Lee Cohen and Morgan Smith, edited by Ariel, and social media and branding by Morgan. Our theme song is Faking It by Suno AI until we get monetized, so feel free to send us a new one. Have questions, thoughts, or media recommendations? Hit us up at fakingthepod.com. Find us on all socials at Faking the Pod and head over to our Patreon for bonus content. Credits for the film or show we reacted to are in the episode caption.